Hey guys, it's Rainey from Balki Duds. This week I'm joining Imran and Sofia for their season break special episode. I will be listing my top 5 Balki Duds of season 2. We play a trivia game and do a lot of speculation about what's to come in season 3. All that and more on this episode of Dance of Joy, a Perfect Strangers rewatch podcast.
Hello and welcome to Dance of Joy, a Perfect Strangers rewatch podcast. My name is Imran. Joining me here every week, she got the better genes in the family. She got all the looks, the brains, and all the melatonin. It's my sister, Sofia. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, Imran? You do realize we're on a podcast and nobody will understand what that comment was about.
We'll explain that if anybody brings it up.
What's up? I'm so happy to be here. We did not watch A Perfect Strangers this week.
What?
I'm feeling kind of off. There's a good reason for that, though. We finished season 2. If you're with us thus far, thank you so much. We finished season 2. We made it, and we are taking a 1-week short break between seasons to do a special episode. And we have a special guest today. Today, joining us as a third co-host is our collaborator at Balki Duds, Rainey, who runs the at Balki Duds Instagram account. What's up, Rainey?
Hello, happy to be here.
Oh my God, it's Rainey in person and not just on a voice clip. You guys have heard her so far, and many people have been enjoying the Balki Duds reports. I'm so excited to have you here as you're a part of the show already. Before even getting on the show, you are an awesome collaborator, Rainey.
Rainey, you do realize you're stuck with us for for 6 more seasons.
Yeah, this is a commitment now. I'm in this. I'm heavily wrapped up.
Yeah, there's about 120 episodes left, so that's good.
Yeah.
Go on this journey with us.
You're going to be like my firstborn's like godparents now. Or I don't know. I guess I'll have to choose. It'll be a whole thing. That could be like a Perfect Strangers episode.
So, Rainey, I don't know if you heard that episode where you wrote us and we read. My sister read your Instagram post, and it was.
I did.
I loved her reading. What'd you think of her emphatic reading? I thought she nailed that.
I was smiling and laughing the whole time. Yeah, I haven't had the time to listen to some of the earlier episodes. I jumped onto the ones, just the ones that I was on. But once you started asking me to help out, yeah, I heard those last ones. I was cracking up just like, oh, this is like a real thing now. Cool.
That is a common strategy to get podcast listeners.
Mm-hmm.
It's just have people on the show.
Yes.
And then, of course, they're going to listen to it. Got one.
Put it on your resume.
Yes.
So Rainey runs the Instagram account at Balki Duds. Rainey, tell the listener what this account is about. And my first question is, why did you start this account? It's amazing.
You know, I ask myself that question sometimes. So Balki Duds is an Instagram account. It's just an Instagram right now. I don't have like a Twitter or anything else. It's just because it's all, it's pictures. And it's an account dedicated to the applique vests and shirts and, kind of carpet bag textile clothing items of Balki Bartakamis on Perfect Strangers. And the reason I started it is because my partner and I had basically been shotgunning Perfect Strangers, just kind of like blasting through the show since, I don't know, like December, maybe early January. It's a little intense. And something happened on season 4, episode 17, Pros and Cons. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, he's wearing this like black shirt with bright neon like appliqued animals and creatures, and it just suddenly struck me. I was like, "What is going on?" I'd had almost 4 full seasons of these outfits, but for some reason, that one just got me.
And you saw it. You finally had that epiphany.
I did, yeah. So what happened was I started posting them on my own private Instagram with the hashtag Balki Duds. But what was happening was we'd watch episodes like 1 or 2 per night, and I kept posting. And finally, I was like, all right, I'm literally that guy now. So this has to be a separate account. So it was literally to stop flooding my own Instagram with Balki vests and shirts. And I think I just needed something to get obsessed with in the COVID sphere. So
yeah, this is kind of why we started. This is kind of why we started the podcast. Is we wanted something to be obsessed with.
Rainey, so you said you and your partner have been binging it now. Did you watch the show in the 80s and 90s?
So I was aware of it and I had seen it. I was born in 85, so I was a little young for it.
You would have been a little young.
Exactly. So what happened was, I think Jack is my partner's name. I think they were looking through Hulu and just saw it. And I happened to be walking by and I said, oh my God, Perfect Strangers. I think I just had like this memory of the idea of Perfect Strangers. So I wouldn't have been able to like tell you about any episodes or anything, but I just I remembered the theme song. I remembered the like font they used in the intro. And I just was like, we have to watch it. Funny thing though. So they actually started watching it without me, and I jumped in on the second episode. So to this day, I actually have not watched the first episode of the show.
Oh, you haven't?
I haven't.
The pilot where he gets there. It's a good. It's a fun watch. It sets everything up.
I've seen clips.
Yeah,
like I've seen him show up, with the backpack and everything. He's got his one backpack, and there's no story about where any of his other outfits come from. But yeah, so I have to go back and see that sometime.
And then, like, had we not started a merch shop and put our logo on a shirt, your path wouldn't have collided with our path, resulting in this awesome collaboration. So weird.
I know. I would have probably tried to find a way to post about you guys anyway because it was too cool. But when I saw the shirt, that specifically, I was like, that's a Balki dud. Like,
that's a Balki dud.
It's meta.
So I think the moral of the story is T-shirts bring people together.
Yes, they do. Absolutely. Yes. Especially niche T-shirts.
The power of a good T-shirt.
That word, you use that word applique. What is exactly applique? What do you mean?
So appliques are they're basically patches that are like sewn onto the shirt. So he has a lot of vests, and the vests are usually not appliqued. They're just like a solid whatever fabric
Embroidered.
they are. Yeah, some of them are embroidered. I think some of them are just whatever like woven fabric they are. And then a lot of the long sleeve shirts he has, of course he has some just like normal store-bought ones, but he has these ones with like little creatures and people like sewn all over them, and those are appliques.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you had some great facts, like I did not know or these are 100-year-old fabrics from Greece that he shipped in.
Yeah, some of them. I don't remember if he like went there and bought them or ordered them, but I believe the story was that he bought some there, or at least some of them, and the costume designer like made a lot of the vests. And I think that like if you're looking through season 2, I think they didn't really have as many of like the custom made ones then, because a lot of them look store bought, but as you kind of get on through the seasons, I think you see a lot more like really unique custom ones.
I mean, I think it's a great idea. Bronson Pinchot had to add this personality to Balki. It makes it stand out, makes it unique. One of a kind. So, look, we've gone through season 2, Sophia and Rainey. I thought we could take some time to gather our thoughts so far on the show, what we've experienced, where the characters are, and just overall reflections through season 2.
Okay, so I think they've done a good, we have a pretty solid sense of Larry's character and Balki's character, and how the two of them relate as this classic like odd couple situation, right? Larry's like this panicky, type A, uptight. Everything is a big deal. A date with Jennifer is the most important night of his life. A photo contest is the most important moment of his life. That's going to change everything for him. That kind of thing. And then we talked a lot about they had this running gag from the beginning of him drinking Maalox or whatever. What is it?
Antacid. Yes.
But I think that will slowly go away. But it's interesting because I think they put that in early just to like underscore that character trait. But as we sort of get to know that trait through everything else, they're going to phase out that Maalox drinking.
Well, you notice Larry has, he's learning lessons. He's learning life lessons, and I wonder if it's going to change some of his choices moving forward.
Yeah, sometimes he seems to forget those from episode to episode.
Rainey, now that you've watched like later in the season, what are your feelings about this early season so far?
Well, I kind of don't want to say too much because I don't want to give, even though like a lot of people will have seen the show before, I don't really want to give anything specific away.
Mm-hmm.
No spoilers for a show from 1986.
For 35 years, don't spoil this.
No spoilers.
I think certain things stay very much the same and certain things definitely change. So I would say seasons 1 and 2 definitely go together for a lot of reasons that I'm sure you're going to get into. I would say seasons 3 and 4 in a lot of ways were the sweet spot, but also like seasons 5 and 6 are also great. I'm in season 7 now, so I can't really comment on the whole thing, but I feel like it's almost like every 2 seasons there's a little bit of a vibe shift. Yeah, like for me, I'm sure you'll talk about it when you get there, but at the beginning of season 3, I felt odd, and I won't explain why, but I felt odd, and it took a couple episodes to settle, and then it was like everything was normal.
No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
We'll find out about that next week.
Well, no, that makes a lot of sense. Season 1 and 2, season 1 was only 6 episodes, and 2 was like the first full episodes. Clearly, they have their ingredients. They know their shticks, and they're developing these things. But then, as we'll see, and we all know, season 3, everything changes. And I think that's when they're like, all right, let's move this forward. We know what works. We're just going to kind of reset. And then I think that's when the show starts to peak also. You see them, it's getting better, and they're evolving things, and the characters are evolving.
So you were just mentioning kind of the personality types there, like the type A and the relationship between the two of them. I also kind of had this little thought in the back of my head that, to me, Larry is like the ego. And I think Balki is the super ego and the id.
Oh wow. Man, that's deep. Wait, explain these real quick.
So there's definitely people who can explain these better than I can, but they're sort of Freud's like 3 dimensions of the personality. So the idea is that everybody has all 3 of these things, but for some people, like one is overdeveloped and one's not developed enough. So the ego is the self. It's just the basic like human person. The super ego is the moral compass that sort of guy, right? Yeah. So the superego is sort of the moral compass that makes the higher thinking decisions, and it's less selfish. Balki. And then the id though is sort of like the primal, like reptilian brain that sort of, just wants, it's the sort of the sensual part and the exciting part and the crazy kid part. I definitely think that Larry is occasionally one of those 2 things as well. Like he definitely like goes into like reptile brain a lot.
Yeah.
But
I want her.
Yes.
The way he talks about Jennifer. Ugh.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right on the money. I think that Balki tends to be whatever Larry needs at that time.
Yeah.
So
as a foil.
Yeah, and Balki is like the sweet, innocent, childlike at times, but then also like very wise at other times.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want his innocence to be spoiled, but sometimes you're like, oh, Balki, you're too. Sometimes I'm on Larry's side. I'm like, Balki, you're too trusting. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then, as far as the id, I remember Larry in the Vegas episode where he's just obsessed with those chips and he turns into like Jack Nicholson from The Shining.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that is some major Balki as super ego action, I think.
Yeah. So that's great. That is a deep analysis of Perfect Strangers.
Watching too much.
Randy, I want to ask you, how is that sweet tank top, Dance of Joy tank top you bought? Thank you very much, first of all.
Oh, yes, I love it. It's a very comfy tank top. Everyone should buy one of all sizes and genders and every color of the rainbow. I think you can get the shirt in a bunch of different colors, it looks like. Yes.
I need to get some more.
Visit danceofjoypod.com/shop. Get yourselves one, post a photo, and share it just like Rainey did and some other people. Love seeing that.
The hoodie, the zip-up hoodie sweatshirt is also quite comfortable.
Nice.
Yeah, they have the nice soft cotton T-shirts. All right, Rainey came prepared. You told me you had an official season 2 top 5 Balki duds. I got super excited.
Top 5.
I do.
Is it hard to choose 5?
It wasn't as hard as I thought. I almost did a top 10, but that, me, I'll ramble. That'll take forever. So what I did today was like really quickly, I like went on my laptop on Hulu and like put it on mute and like skimmed real quick through some of the episodes.
Wow.
Well, because I didn't remember the beginning of the season. I hadn't really seen it. So, would you like to hear my top 5?
Yeah. Were there criteria by which you selected these 5?
Nope, completely subjective.
Just emotions.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love your naming technique too. As we're going to hear, the names you give these bests are amazing. And they really work because it made me. I always remember these vests when they come back up. There's also you have a spreadsheet on your Instagram. It's crazy, just like a spreadsheet of Balki vests. It's amazing.
Love it.
Yeah, the spreadsheet's a little bit of a mess now because what happened was, again, I started at the end of season 4. So I was doing things in order. And now that I'm back, I'm kind of just adding to it sporadically. So like some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about from season 2 isn't even on there yet. But,
it's fine.
I'll catch up.
It'll be complete. We must make it complete. So for the listener, as you go through this, I'll put some screenshots in our show notes so they can follow along. But let's kick it off with number 5 there, right?
All right. Yeah, and I'll put these on my Instagram too. So when this episode, if you're hearing this episode, they should be on my Instagram as well.
Sweet.
Perfect. So number 5, which I call this outfit, the Spider-Man pajamas that leave little to the imagination.
Yes! Oh, no!
Which we see first in episode 1, Hello Baby. He does have some other solid pajamas. This season, there's the rodeo pajamas, and there's like a superhero nightgown. It wasn't, what am I thinking of? Transformers? It's not Transformers, but it kind of looks like it.
Oh, really?
Huh.
Yeah. I don't remember what episode that was in, but the Spider-Man pajamas, they're not even like an official Balki dud, it's like a store bought, whatever.
Yeah.
Look, come on. They're iconic.
That's something I always remembered watching this show as a kid because Spider-Man is one of my favorite superheroes. I ever asked my sister, I had a Spider-Man garbage can, toothbrush holder.
Bedroom set.
I had a bedroom set. I have Spider-Man things behind me right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I was jealous. I was like, whoa, where could I get that? They had to pay Marvel a license to use that official Spider-Man image on the thing. Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
And the other great thing about that scene, which we talked about in that episode, was just the whole choreography of that whole scene where they're both in bathrobes covering their pajamas, facing each other, and they turn away as they take their robes
reveal.
off. Then they turn back toward each other.
What are those?
And then Larry's face is just like...
He goes, well, let me rephrase that. Why are you wearing those? And Balki goes, because my He-Man pajamas are in the laundry.
Yeah.
So good.
So good.
Amazing.
Love it. Okay.
Okay, great. That's a great number 5.
Yeah.
So number 4, this is actually an outfit. So this is not, I guess the pajamas are an outfit as well, but it's also one piece because that's, the magic of pajamas. Number 4 is a whole outfit as well. It is called The Cold Apartment. And it's from episode 10, Rent Strike.
Ah, yes.
So this is when, specifically when Balki and then Larry are sitting on the couch and they're like trying to heat up like a pot with a candle or something because they have,
egg on a candle. Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to cook an egg on the couch because they're battling with their rent strike with Mr. Twinkassetti. So the reason I love this so much is that half of it looks like something I would wear, like his scarf. I have something called the walking blanket, and it's this staple item in the winter. It's this little shawl that I just like walk around my house in like a little babushka and like make my tea and stuff. So he's got a scarf, he has a sweatshirt, he has gloves, but here's the magic. He has a furry vest.
Yeah.
Not just a vest, but a furry vest. He has a cape. The cape is really the pièce de résistance.
I love his capes.
Yes, and the borderline Ushanka, like Russian kind of muff hat is just the crowning touch on this whole thing. So when you put it all together, it's so Balkified.
He looks like he was in the background scene of Fiddler on the Roof in this outfit. But you got to have the animal hair, like to tie back to the sheep herder and the Myposian. He's always wearing some. And that scene is great where he's like, how do you like your eggs? Loose, I hope. As he's cooking it over the candle.
And this is the outfit that specifically made me think, I commented earlier, like there's no explanation to how he got all his clothes here because he shows up with a backpack.
Yeah,
and
he has one suitcase.
Yeah, exactly. And he has all this stuff and it's all bulky.
In there. Oh my God.
Maybe he had it shipped.
Yeah, I'm sure
he
Mama
found
sent it.
Myposian market on the south side of Chicago or something.
Great observation. He had one suitcase and the sign. The sign made it to America. How did all that stuff come?
Also, I almost think we could have like a Balki Duds subsection about hats that he wears.
Oh yeah,
sometimes.
the bullet
He's
hat.
got that bullet hat.
Yeah.
I have some hats on my. If you go to the spreadsheet, which there is a link on the Instagram, there's 3 tabs, 3 pages. There's vests, appliques, and there's other magic.
Spreadsheet has
Holy
tabs.
moly, I didn't even see. I'm like literally have it
This
pulled up
just
right now, but I
blew
didn't
my
even see the
mind.
tabs.
Yeah.
That spreadsheet
Love
has
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
It has tabs. Unbelievable.
I love it. Okay, this just got so much better. It was
good.
great to begin with.
My sister loves spreadsheets, by the way. It's one of
I
my
love a
favorite
good
things.
spreadsheet.
I mean, who doesn't? I guess let's move on to number 3. So
Yeah.
number 3, this is a vest, and this is definitely a Balki vest, a very classic one. This vest was in the first episode I did for you guys, which I believe was season 2, episode 17, I think. And it's called Camp Anti-Gravity.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in season 2, we first see it in episode 9. Again, I don't know if any of these are in season 1 because I'm going to have to go back. But this is in episode 9, Can I Get a Witness? And it's red and it has all these little like tents on it, little houses or little tents floating in space. And I just love it. I think we see it so much eventually in season 2 that I felt very close to it. I felt very comforted by this vest. So, however, my favorite appearance of this vest is in episode 11, A Christmas Story, because he's wearing this vest with these sort of dark green corduroy pants and these like, I want to say calfskin, but they look like he's just wearing horse legs, these boots. And it's beautiful.
Yes.
So
hooves.
yeah, definitely. And there's also honorable mention to the jacket in episode 20 up on the roof where some of the little floating tents are like sewn onto the pockets, which is just next level.
They must have had like extra scraps, and he's like, just sew that on. I love this vest. It's so instantly recognizable. I used it for the episode artwork for those episodes, and instantly I remember the floating tents, anti-gravity. Like, great name.
Thank you. Just came to me, you know. So the next 2, actually, I will say number 2 and number 1 were very close. But yeah, they were very close. I swapped them at least once. Number 2 is called Aladdin's Curtains.
Okay.
Black and gold. Now, I had first noticed this vest in, I don't know exactly what episode it was.
Is that Tux for 2?
It might.
No.
That's not that one.
No.
That was a fancy black and
He has a
gold
bunch
one
of
with
black and gold
tassels.
outfits. Yeah.
So Tux for 2, it does have some gold. It has a lot less gold on it. And that one was very close to making this list.
Okay.
Honestly, it's breaking my heart that it's not on this list.
It's got little tassels on the bottom.
it had
that dance
tassels
around.
on
It's
it.
got the bolero tie and everything, the cummerbund.
yep.
The cummerbund. But so listen, Aladdin's Curtains has tassels as well, though. Many tassels. Hence the
Okay.
curtains.
Okay.
Now, this vest, I remembered it specifically. There's a later episode. I won't give it away, but I think the episode's called Almost Live from Chicago.
Okay.
And this was such a fantastic vest when I first saw it. I was like, oh my God, this must be the debut of this vest because it's over the top. However, I was wrong because season 2, episode 6, Babes in Babylon, when they go to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It's the vest he's wearing.
To go see Wayne Newton.
To see
Yes.
Wayne.
Yes, that's
Yes.
a great vest. I love his gold and black gear. Like, I would wear those. It looks sharp.
I know. It's got tassels. It's got checkers. It's shiny. It is something else. And he's worn that vest both open and closed. So I almost thought it was a different vest at first, but I checked and it was not. Just sometimes he's opened it.
That was when Larry was fighting the gambling monster we call Gamblor.
Gambler.
Oh, so good.
Oh my God, we're at number 1, top
Number
Balki
1.
duds from season 2.
We are. And now, see, you've planted a seed in my head. You've made me like question myself because
no.
I don't have the tux on
don't
here.
question
But
yourself. Go with your
but-
gut.
I will. So I call this vest Oktoberfest.
Okay.
Because that is what flew into my mind when I saw it. The first time we see it is episode 4, but it does pop up later. So episode 4, Ladies and Germs. It is the first, I think, true Balki vest of the season. It's this sort of, it's got like an extra low neckline and this like big rounded lapel. It looks like a gingerbread house. Like it's this sort of very light brown and it's got this light blue and red and these swirls and it just comes at you out of nowhere. Like I'm imagining this is when you can't quite picture right now. It's not maybe as like different as some of the other ones, but when I got to this point in the season, I was just like, bam, that is it. Because I think it really was like a turning point in, the Balki duds.
I do. I see. And he's
see
wearing a shirt with a collar over.
Yes.
And it's like orange and brown. Yeah, that's a nice one. It's got like the designs around the collar and down the middle.
Yeah, I know it might seem a little wackadoo, like putting that above Aladdin's curtains, but there's something magical about that vest. I think it was just so bold. The neckline is bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, textured and like got a lot of great patterns.
Also, it's interesting to note in this vest, in this episode, that he's wearing just like a plain white shirt underneath,
Yeah.
which is not something we see so much.
Well, we see that, or you'll
On
see him
him.
wear like a solid vest with a busy shirt as contrast. You see that a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where he's got like a paisley vest. He has various paisley vests and then stripes underneath it. There's actually one point I don't remember where it is, but there's like paisley on paisley, and they're both completely different.
Wow.
And it's a
Wow.
lot. It's a lot.
That would make me dizzy a little bit.
Actually, no.
looking
You know
at it.
what? I think it's in the episode I just that we just did. It's in
Yes.
Hello, Elaine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said. It made me think of the 13th Floor Elevators cover. To the
That's
album.
right. That episode was crazy. It had like 4 different costume changes he went through.
And I do have to add one. It's kind of an honorable mention, but really it's just in the my most coveted category. This is like if I were at some sort of charity auction and
you would get this. Yeah.
had way more money than I do, I would bid a stupid amount of money on the Ritz Discount Royals baseball T-shirt from episode 3.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just going to put this out there for everyone. I've had a couple of ideas for T-shirts for us to make. You just gave me a one right there.
For sure.
Right?
You know
a
what?
Ritz Discount Royal logo on like a bright yellow shirt on a baseball tee.
on like a baseball shirt.
Oh my God. What
Yeah.
would you? Okay, that's one. I had another one. Let me know what you guys think of this. I'm going to do a little like illustrated icon drawing, and it's just going to say, I just had a Marianne moment of clarity with a little drawing of Marianne's head. That was my other idea for a T-shirt.
Or just like Marianne's head, and it says, I watch Oprah.
Sometimes at night, I make sense. Like, that's all it should say.
I watch
Is
Oprah.
their quote.
Yeah.
Sometimes at night, I actually like that a lot. Sometimes at night, I make
Yes.
sense.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Because
yeah.
sometimes at night, I make sense. I get that. I totally can relate to that.
You know, you just made me think of like some sort of like, it's like a 2-person commitment here. There'd have to be like 2 different T-shirts, but one says "I have" and the other one says "Oh God." It's a little
Or
like out
front
there.
and
We could do front and back.
Yeah. I
Listen,
have,
any
God.
T-shirt ideas you guys have, throw them this way. We'll put. That's the beauty about our T Public shop. I can make them real quick. I can throw them up, and people like them, and they can get them. Somebody needs to make like a Larry Instagram account of all his crazy solid color outfits that are just hard to ignore. Because
I was thinking about this the other day. There's gonna be some Larry Duds hashtags eventually because
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
got a few
snap.
gems.
We talk about Larry's outfits a little bit here and there. Like he wears a lot of mint green, like greens and blues were definitely the themes. Sometimes there was like the occasional, like when he got dressed up for their
was
dinner
red
date, it was
involved.
like solid red sweater under a jacket.
These power colors, I guess, in the 80s or whatever.
But and then it's so funny because it's so funny that you mentioned the Spider-Man pajamas that leave nothing to the imagination. I had that thought about, okay, so the whole first and second season, Larry is this like 24-year-old, we're meant to believe, 24-year-old in like these sort of 80s baggy pleated pants. Like we never see him in like a pair of jeans or like he's in these like formal pleated baggy pants. But when they go skiing,
Yeah.
he is in some like pretty fitted ski pants.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are his pants? Why are his ski pants so tight?
Yeah.
I guess for skiing, I don't know. But it took me by surprise. I definitely noticed it because
Was that the 80s
up until
ski
then
fashion?
we didn't see him in. I mean, now it would be like completely normal. It's like tight pants everywhere. But
Now it's like hipstery, trendy now.
but I was like, whoa, Larry in the ski pants. And I'll leave it at that because we're a family friendly.
Well, and that's the one too where Balki suddenly he's skiing in shorts.
In
And
shorts, yes.
I remember saying to you guys when I did that episode, I was like, I don't think there's going to be anything. Oh my God. Like I didn't expect anything that exciting. And then he's got like suspenders and shorts. And I'm like, why Balki? Like out of all, like he clearly has all the warm clothes in the universe, but when he's going skiing,
He wears the shorts.
so
Although I
Amazing.
think the scene when they're in the tunnel, he's somehow wearing long pants in the tunnel.
Yeah.
Just for like that, yeah, just
His
for
knees
the
are
tunnel
covered.
scene. But then it goes back to shorts when he
Yeah.
breaks out and escapes on top. So good. That's a fantastic top 5, Rainey. Amazing.
That is
Thank you.
great.
Thank
yeah.
you very
now,
much.
Now, as we go through season 3, I'm going to be making my own mentally top 5 list. See if we match up at the end of the season next time. I want to let the listener know if you've been enjoying our journey, if you've been watching the episodes on Hulu with us, there's a way you can support the show, and it kind of ensures that we keep making the show. It helps cover some of the hosting costs. You can buy us a virtual coffee.
What are we talking about?
Well, I'll tell you, Balki. It's just visit our website, danceandjoypod.com/support. Click that little button, buy me a coffee, and it's a way for you to show your support. We have to thank our very first Buy Me a Coffee supporter, Sofia.
Jennifer Dungan. Dungan, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Jennifer bought us 3 coffees, one for each of us, one for Imran, one for me, and one for Rainey.
Thanks.
And left us a very lovely comment. Jennifer wrote, "What a delight to rewatch Perfect Strangers. It adds greatly to the enjoyment to be sharing it with you both, who are obviously as enthusiastic as I am. I'm loving Balki Duds on your show, too." Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Rainey, to quote Balki, we stepped in something good this time.
Yeah, thanks. That's
right?
so exciting.
Isn't that great? Like, what a weird just occurrence. What a weird sequence of events that got us all. I still can't get over it. Like, the internet is just, you think it's all trolls and mean people.
Internet is a magical
Sometimes
place.
amazing things like this happens. All right, I think it's time to play some games here.
A game?
Yeah, we are going to play a game
Of course I have. Don't be ridiculous.
with Rainey. We played this early on. I think it was like season 1 episodes. I threw in a couple of
Yeah,
games.
way early.
I'm bringing it back because Rainey's here, and now you
man.
two are going to go head to head
Oh, no.
in the TV theme song lyric game. I hope you guys are ready. It's okay if you don't get these. It's all for fun.
Okay, 80s TV theme songs.
Are we like buzzing in or like are we taking turns?
We're going to take turns.
Take turns.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only people that lose here is the charity I promised to give money to and somebody won. So just don't worry about those kids. It's fine. We will go first. Rainey is our guest. I will give you the choice. Do you want to go first or will you want to pass?
I'll pass.
Okay, sister.
No pressure.
No pressure. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read some lyrics of a theme song, and I will give you points if you can give me the rest of the lyrics. I will give you more points if you can sing the melody, and I will give you yet even more points if you can name the show.
The show. Okay.
Any one of those things. Okay, here we go. I'll keep this first round. I'll keep it kind of a little more beginner for everyone, so
Okay,
we get people warmed up. Here we go, Sophia. First song to you. When I wake up in the morning and the alarm gives out a warning, and I don't think I'll ever make it on time.
Riding low in my chair, she won't know that I'm there. It's the next verse though. If I could hand it in tomorrow, it would be all right.
Points.
It's all right, 'cause I'm saved by the bell.
Points to Sophia.
Although I skipped to the next lyric. What was the
There you go.
in the dog ate all my
By that time I grab my books.
books and I give myself a look. I'm at the corner just in time to see the sun's rise.
It's all right. I woke up to that every Saturday morning for years.
I remembered the next part of it, which is about the dog eating the homework.
You did. You. I'll give you points. You
I
came in with the
skipped ahead.
second verse. That was amazing.
Yeah, second verse.
Rainey, did you know that one? Would you
I
know that one?
did. I'm kicking myself. 'Cause I did.
Okay, Rainey, don't worry. We'll
Okay,
give you a nice
Rally.
beginner one here.
Wait, was that 80s though? Saved by the Bell?
It was
90s.
It was 90s. It's 80s and 90s. It's still
Okay,
kind of the
80s
same
and 90s.
same vibe.
Got it.
Some of these shows span both, so The Perfect Strangers span both decades,
Right.
technically. Rainey, song number 2, here you go. Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries, sure, would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go
Where everybody knows your name. That's Cheers. I'm from Massachusetts, guys.
There you go. Worcester, Mass. Represent. Of course, that is the best bar in the world. Points. She got the words. And she
When you
got
started singing it, though, I thought it was making my way downtown, walking fast.
and I
That's all I
miss
could
you.
hear.
Oh my God. That who is that? She's ruined TV theme song.
Vanessa Carlton?
Yes, it's Vanessa something. I think you're right. Okay, points so far. We're tied. We're doing great.
We're tied. All right.
We're doing great. Back to you, sister. Here is your song. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal.
a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you know, you would see the biggest gift would be for me. And the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
That's it. The show? What's the show?
That is the Golden Girls.
Yes. That's a great one. And that show is still really funny also.
People, you know what? We think we have a niche following.
Yeah.
But the Golden Girls people are like really into Golden Girls.
I mean, come on. The stories from St. Olaf. And there you go. Nailed it. Very well. Okay. Back to Rainey. Let's see. Maybe we'll kick this up a little bit. We'll kick this up a little bit.
You can't kick it up in the middle of a round.
So, okay. Well, let's try this one.
I just want to say with Golden Girls, yeah. I've seen that show. Never really watched it too much, but I am enjoying and also hating the like bi-weekly panic when Betty White trends on Twitter.
Oh my God.
Because everyone's always afraid that she's
going to outlive everyone. I don't know. Her and
Maybe
Keith Richards. Yeah, her and Keith Richards, they drinking from the same fountain. I don't know what's going on there. But you're right. She has outlived so many. I mean, she outlived Prince Philip. What? Yeah. That's insane.
And Prince.
And Prince.
Yeah.
Yes, and Michael Jackson. All these people. Betty White.
And Prince Philip.
It's a national treasure. Someone just wrap her in bubble wrap already. What are you doing? Okay, ready? Here you go. Here is your theme song lyrics. Maybe the world is blind. Or just a little unkind. Don't know. Seems you can't be sure of anything anymore. Although. I can keep going. You want some more?
Wait, this sounds so
we're getting to the chorus here. You may be lonely, and then one day you're smiling again. Every time I turn around, I see the girl who turns my world around, standing there.
Though honestly, the first line is what's like sticking with me.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Can I give her a hint?
Yeah, you can give her a hint.
Sure.
Can I sing it?
Yes. Do you think that'll help? Try that.
Maybe. Maybe the world is blind. Or just a little unkind. Don't know. Seems you can't be sure.
You know what? I'm just going to play it right
and
here.
Then another hint is that
go ahead.
There's recently made a reboot with the original.
Maybe this will trigger it.
Maybe the world is blind. Or just a little.
I don't know.
Wild guess.
I don't know. It's not Who's the Boss, so I don't know.
No, it's close. Sophia, what's the show?
It's Punky Brewster, and I only know it because it was one of my favorite shows.
All
There's
right.
a reboot.
I didn't watch that one as much.
No, yeah, that was one of my favorite shows growing up.
That's good.
All right, should we do one last round?
One more. One last round. We'll go back and forth. Each one. Let's do. Oh, there's no words to this song. Hold on.
I have if I have like certain friends listening to this right now, they are screaming like, "How do you not know
Punky Brewster?" There's a reboot. I haven't made it all the way through. I've watched the first few episodes. It's pretty good. I like it better than Fuller House. Okay. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on the podcast. But.
It's kind of on the same level as Fuller House. It's probably a little better. Okay, Sophia, here's yours. I don't know if this is going to be hard or easy, and maybe I should have given this one to Rainey. Let's see. Okay, here's the words. Show me that smile again. Don't waste another minute on your crying. We are nowhere near the end. The best is ready to begin.
Okay, wait. Say the. Show me that. Wait. Say the words again.
Show me that smile again. Don't waste another minute on your
Another
crying.
minute on your crying.
We're nowhere near
whether
the
we're
end.
near the
You
end.
got the melody.
The best is ready
I'm
to
going to play
be.
it. Can you give
As
me...
long as we got each other.
There you go.
We got the world's da 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 da. Baby, we gotta be the luckiest.
I need the show name.
Is it Growing Pains?
Yes!
I'm glad you got that one. I would.
I was torn between Growing Pains and Family Ties.
Yeah, they're kind of similar. One of the many awesome theme songs written and I think sung by Alan Thicke, who sang like every theme song for every TV show that's ever existed.
And he was
apparently.
also on that show.
Yeah, and he was the lead on the show.
Oh, that's weird.
He was
Yeah.
the father, Seaver.
Yeah,
What
he was
his-
Mike Seaver.
No, Mike was Kirk Cameron, no?
Wasn't he Junior?
Were they both Mike?
Were they both Mike? I can't remember what his name was. I can't remember. Now I gotta look that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason Seaver. He was Dr. Jason Seaver, a
Seaver
psychiatrist.
and Carol and Mike and Leonardo DiCaprio eventually.
I was in love with Leonardo DiCaprio as he was on Growing Pains, like tiny, tiny baby Leo.
I forgot about that. Yeah, see, I didn't really see that one much either. I definitely have seen it, but I never would have gotten that song.
Here we go, Rainey. We're gonna finish you out on a good
Right.
one. Here is your lyrics. Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman.
The paperboy, the evening TV, Full House.
There you
Yay.
go.
I've been to the house in San Francisco.
Oh,
I've been
you have?
outside.
I've
yeah.
been there too. I went
It's still
outside.
there?
Yeah.
It's on that slanty road, right?
Yep.
It's really steep.
Everything's slanty there.
Yeah.
It's like just a slanty.
Does somebody live there?
They must.
Somebody
I
lives
think.
there, yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that I've heard of stories of like where they shot the Goonies. We reviewed it from another podcast, and the house is still there, and people come by and take photos, and the people who live there, they hate it. They're like, "Stop
yeah.
taking pictures." That was 35 years ago.
Yeah.
I definitely took that picture from the park across from the Full House.
Yeah,
house.
we were across the street too. We're like, we'll be nice.
Yeah.
Man.
Awesome. I think so. I think you guys are even. He's got
Yay.
like 3
All
and
right.
this
We know
one,
our
whatever.
80s
Good.
theme songs.
I think that's fun. One of these, I would kill this. So one of these days, Sophia, you're going to have to give
We're going to have to
the
stump
clues.
you next
Yes.
time we play this.
That's going to be hard. I wasted a lot of my life watching sitcoms.
We both did. We
Yeah,
both
we
did. And the thing about theme songs that we always talk about on this show is like in the 80s and 90s when we would watch these shows, you couldn't skip past it. You could now you can skip past it on Netflix and stuff,
Oh,
the
yeah.
credits. But like you had to sing it every time. You had to hear it every week. But didn't get old because you weren't binging anything.
It got you in the mood too. But nowadays, these shows, they don't even have opening credit. It's just like
They don't
title.
have lyrics.
It's
they
just
don't have
like-
theme songs
yeah.
with lyrics.
There's more show to their credit, not like 90 minutes of a theme song. You add 90 seconds of a show, but it's just like real quick titles, little music, and then it just starts. I miss that.
That makes me think, actually, coming up on season 3 of Perfect Strangers, listen carefully.
Yeah.
Listen carefully. And also, I don't think it's until season 4, but there's a really weird one-off theme song event. And that's all I'm going to say.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, they changed it. Ooh.
I'm 99% sure there's like one episode where something different happens, and then they were like, that's a bad idea. So-
Don't do that again. Well, I'm excited. I know season 3 credits get updated and they become, then they get those iconic shots we all remember of them coming out of the subway and stuff. And we live in Chicago, and I always think of that when we go by downtown, the theater. All right, good stuff. Let's close out with some shout outs. We got a bunch of shout outs from various platforms and various forms. We got a voicemail from our Speak Pipe Button listener. If you visit our website, danceofjoypod.com, there's a little microphone in the lower right. You can click it and you can leave us a message just like this one.
Hi, guys. My name is Evelyn. I live in New York City and just wanted to let you know I've really been enjoying the podcast. I started my own little Perfect Strangers rewatch a few weeks ago. And so now I'm kind of getting caught up on all of your podcast episodes. Anyway, I have a suggestion for your podcast. I think you need a little bit of character analysis. I love the play-by-play. It's a lot of fun to sort of hear it talked about verbally after having watched it in the episode. I love that part. Don't get rid of that. But I think you can do a little bit more in terms of character analysis. I'm an academic psychologist, and so now as I'm rewatching these episodes as an adult, I'm picking up on things that, of course, were completely over my head as a child. But it's a lot of fun to sort of think about the characters the way that you would think about literary characters. Anyway, thanks so much for listening, and you can feel free to reach out to me if you want to discuss it. That would be fun. Anyway, hope you're well, and thanks again for the work that you're doing. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Evelyn.
Nice.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Okay, so many crazy things with this voicemail. First of all, Evelyn, thanks for listening. Evelyn from New York. I love that she loves the recaps, the play-by-play. It's a lot of fun to do, but we're like, do we really need to do all this? But it's so much fun to get into it.
It's fun. It's just fun. It's kind of useless, but it's fun.
Rainey, what is your thoughts on that part?
Well, actually, I do have a thought on that part. And I think when I first listened to it, it's definitely a little more like in depth than I thought, like action to action. But listen, here's the thing though. You know who could really appreciate something like that, which I think is a big need these days, is people with low vision.
Yeah.
There's a whole new world of
vision impaired.
Yeah, there's a whole new world of like captioning and like accessibility out there. So
Hey, we're all about accessibility on Dance of Joy.
Wow,
and
that's
everybody
a great point.
can enjoy it too. So
Also, I love constructive criticism, and Evelyn, that's a great idea. It's a great point. Of course, we're starting on this journey, but character analysis eventually, like literary characters, Sofia, you're the smarty pants. I think that's a great piece of advice.
Well, I mean, sitcoms are all about character development. The writers put time and effort into developing these characters before they even write the pilot and then continue to develop them. So, yeah, Evelyn, thank you so much for your voicemail. And please feel free to send us notes if you have any like glaring character analysis, like brilliant thoughts or light bulb moments or anything that
I would love to hear.
Inform some of the questions we put out about the show.
Keep sending in more voicemails, Evelyn. That was fantastic.
We also have a new Twitter friend, Deanna Russell, who is at Ms. Deanna Russell, who writes at Dance of Joy Pod. OMG. I am not a podcast listener, but yours might change all that. Super excited to see and hear that you exist. Now tell me, how many Perfect Strangers podcasts do you know? How many? How many? One? Thanks for following back.
That's great. In English, how many do you know? In America. Through snow. How many tunnels? Fantastic from Deanna Russell. We got a new follower and a new listener and new podcast
Thank you,
listener.
Deanna Russell.
Turning her on to podcast.
And then finally, we have an old friend of ours who has written to us again, John Atima. Is this John from Colorado?
This is John from Colorado who's bought merchandise and posted a photo of wearing our t-shirt. He's great.
So John is a member of our Dance of Joy podcast Facebook group. So if you're wondering what goes on in there, go ahead and join the group and you can check it out yourself. John writes, just watch season 2, episode 22, Hello Elaine, which we
just
talked
did
about
that
last
one.
week.
Yeah.
And he has a couple of thoughts. First, there was a month gap between this episode and the last. Additionally, this is the season finale, and it's clearly out of chronology. This is not the series' finest moment. And the next thing he writes is, this doesn't really follow the structure we'd come to expect, and I think it suffers for it. It feels like an attempt to be another emotional episode, but after watching Balki give away his puppy, Larry's disagreement with his sister doesn't carry the same emotional heft. That's a really good point.
It is a good point.
And finally, Tiny Lister is the best part of this episode, and I think that's really saying something. I hate to dog on this show, but this episode really made me long for the next season and its new beginnings. Thoughts?
I mean, I think these are fair critiques. Obviously, they're not all going to be great episodes. I got emotional when with Larry and his sister in that last one, just because of the whole like she wants to be an artist and follow her dream, and I can relate to that. But also, Balki giving away his dog Foster,
was so sad.
And it's another thing that I've been through several times.
Yeah.
I know exactly what that's like. but we've discussed how they record these episodes in different order and they air it in a different order and things happen. There's also next, and this is 1987, in 1988 in the summer, there is a looming writer's strike approaching. And there was hints of this in 87 the summer before. So usually when this happens, the writers try to write a bunch of things ahead of time. Because they know that there's writer's strike is coming. It's going to throw things off. So that may also explain some of this weirdness.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a number of things. You know, season 2, the show was still in its early stages. Maybe they didn't know if they were coming back for a third season. Maybe there could have been a number of reasons why things got ordered around. I definitely agree that this was not meant to be or not written as a series season finale.
Right, yep.
But who knows? If anyone out there knows the behind the scenes story of what happened with some of these episode reorders.
Rainey, what did you think of that last episode of the season? And is Tiny Lister the best part? I kind of agree with that one. Tiny Lister's fantastic.
So this would be a great time to ask who or what is Tiny Lister?
He was the big dude. He was Leroy. He was Leroy that owned the club that they went to, the jazz club.
And he's enormous, which is why they call him Tiny.
I kind of was assuming. I was kind of assuming that was him just based on irony, but like
yeah. Of course it's irony.
Yeah,
and he's been in a bunch of things in the 80s and 90s, so that guy's great.
Okay.
I also think the second best thing of that, speaking of duds, is Elaine's massive shoulder pads in every outfit she wears in that episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of shoulder height going on for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, I didn't really, the way we've been watching the show, I have to admit, we're not always like totally aware, like where in the season we are, because we're just like sitting there on the couch, like we have a projector and we're just kind of like going from episode to episode.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so I wasn't even thinking like, oh, this is the season finale. I think it was like as soon as we got to the next episode, I was probably like, oh, this must be season 3 now, because like, I don't know, Balki got a haircut or something.
Everything's different. That's the binge watching culture now. It doesn't matter anymore in those kind of things.
Yeah, I think if I'd watched it really thinking of that or knowing that, I would probably totally agree with the kind of, it might have been slightly lackluster, but now I'm kind of thinking back like, oh, I never would have even thought of that.
I mean, put yourself back in like 1987 and like this ends and you don't have any more until September and you're like, oh, is the end for a while?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the show might have been growing in popularity over season 2, so I wonder how many people were just kind of like disappointed by this.
Well, I definitely think this is they're approaching their peak and their media peak like this next year, 87, 88, 89. Both these guys were huge. They were on the cover of magazines, TV guides, doing award shows. Like we're watching them now get super, super household name popular. And I think
late night talk shows.
Yes. How many times did Bronson go on Arsenio like in 89? But I'm excited for season 3 because it has some of my favorite episodes. And let's just end on this. The physical comedy that they're showing on the show, this is one of the reasons that rediscovering it just blew my mind. I was like, this is amazing physical comedy, the chemistry between them, their flexibility, Bronson's flexibility, the way he can just bend into
and Mark
lines.
Lynn-Baker's ability to be stiff as a board so that Bronson Pinchot can like pick him up and flip him around.
But I mean, it's in the vein of I Love Lucy, of like Three's Company, of great physical comedy sitcoms.
And do we see that kind of physical comedy in current shows?
No, we don't.
Really.
I was going to say that. Every show now, it's all about the writing and the acting and the jokes to camera because there is no audience.
Because we're mostly single cam sitcoms
there's
these
no
days.
multi-cam in front of a live audience. And then I remember like when I discovered the IT Crowd on Netflix. Have you seen this show?
Oh my God. Can I just say Chris O'Dowd is like one of my many awkward TV boyfriends. I love him so much. He's ridiculous.
Yes, the IT Crowd is brilliant. I watched all of them years ago.
And they're both good. And that, it was a return to having an audience having in front of a live audience the show. And I was like, oh my God, I've missed this. When I first watched it, I was like, why is this so great? And I realized it's because the shows don't do in front of a live audience anymore. Some
of them do. There are still some multicam sitcoms being made.
There are. And but the largely they're the single cam. Okay, good stuff, everyone. Rainey, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I can't wait for more reports.
Thank you, guys.
So much fun.
Tell the listener what you want them to do, where they can find you.
You can find me right now on Instagram at Balki Duds, all one word. And that's the only place I am.
Right on. Easy to find. And I'll have all those links in our show notes. And hopefully, we'll hear from you whenever. I feel like I want to force you every week is the thing, but I think the frequency you've done so far is great. And sometimes you're like, there's nothing this week, but here's a little observation. Those are great. So keep up the good work.
Thank you. This is so much fun. What a random evening I've had. It's great.
Right?
And I didn't completely bomb the trivia quiz, too.
No, that was fun. But it's funny. It's funny how we retain random things in our brain like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be a use for all this useless knowledge I have somewhere. That's why I made the show. All right, next week, Sophia, we're returning to the show recap.
Season 3. We got a new season. We have new regular characters, new friends of the cousins. We have new opening credits. We have new jobs for the cousins. And a new apartment, which we are not meant to really talk about or notice.
No, and apparently the apartment itself kind of changes throughout the season.
Yeah, because they don't actually move in the story. It's just a new apartment.
But even in season 3, there's episodes where the apartment is like the doors in a different place. Like it's a different.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I think
weird.
Back in the 80s, right? Like I think the writers and producers were just like, oh, no one's going to remember. It's a whole week between episodes. And there was no mechanism to like go back and watch it unless you were hardcore, like recording on VHS every episode.
And they probably had to rebuild the set anyways, so they were like, just make a new set, make it whatever. It doesn't have to match. Who cares?
And also, like, Balki needs a bedroom at some point.
Yeah, it's still unclear. Like, I guess we do see him sleeping on the sofa in season 2.
He's still sleeping on the pull-out bed in the living room.
There's only one bedroom, yes.
There's one bedroom and there's a bathroom. But we'll see in the next season, there's suddenly another bedroom.
I kind of feel like this whole phenomenon is like the origin of the Mandela effect, right? Where it's
a little bit, maybe.
They're just messing with our heads, and now we've all noticed because it's
Wasn't the door over there? Wait a minute.
The door changes. There's a bedroom.
Wasn't it Bernstein Bears? What's going on here?
But it's definitely like supposed to. They don't. It's like you said, you're not supposed to notice. It's not like they moved. They want you to think it's the same apartment. Everything else is generally laid out, except like it's.
But also, what happens to Ritz Discount, right? Like, they stop working there, but is the store still there? Is that awkward? Do they run into Twinkaseti? No one ever knows.
We'll find out. Maybe or maybe not what happens. And do the girls still, if they moved, did the girls move with them? What is going on?
Who knows? Who knows? So all that and more next week as we get into season 3. If you are still with us and enjoying our show, which we know you are because you're telling us on the social medias, please keep telling us. Get in touch. Visit danceofjoypod.com. That's our website. It's got all the links for all the places you can find the podcast. You can leave us a rating or a review in Apple Podcasts. You too can get in touch and get shouted out on our show. Send us an email at danceofjoypod@gmail.com or a voice message through the website or a like or a heart or whatever on the socials. We're at Dance of Joy Pod on all the socials.
And of course, share it with a friend. Spread the word to all the people discovering Perfect Strangers on Hulu. It's a lot more than I thought. Turns out. That's great. And now, Rainey, you're going to join us. We are so happy.
We do the dance of joy.
Now we are so happy. We do the dance of joy.
Everybody. Hey.
Hey.